Hello and welcome to Craft of the Draft. This episode is brought to you by StatsMap. Record your own stats from your local footy or basketball game, and the app automatically calculates your fantasy score, measure your actual performance, compare yourself with your mates, and bring that fantasy sports excitement to community level or junior sports. If you love sport and want to see how your stats stack up, check out StatsMap, available now on the App Store and Google Play. StatsMap, where every stat counts. And what an episode we had today. A special episode. We got to interview Eastern Rangers ruckman Marcus Krasnadamskis.
Yeah, we did. A raw and honest Marcus Krasnadamskis speaking about his decision to choose footy over a fledgling basketball career. We spoke to him about his quick rise from the Berwick under-19s into the Eastern Rangers lineup, and now he's well and truly on the draft radar a week out from the national intake.
Welcome to another special episode of Craft the Draft, where we're interviewing Eastern Rangers big man Marcus Krasnadamskis. Marcus, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're a week out from the draft as we record this. How are you feeling ahead of a couple of big nights?
Pretty excited, mostly nervous though. Never really looked at getting drafted as one of my major goals, but yeah, it's definitely getting real right now.
What's your plans for draft night 2 or 1?
One, probably just getting to a mate's house, so I'm not watching it alone if anything exciting happens. But yeah, 2's probably the area that I'm going around Berwick Inn, just
cool
pub down there, get down.
Very nice. Mates and family and everyone.
Exactly.
Who is that support network for you, with your family and your mates? Like, how have they kind of helped you this year?
They've definitely helped me with a lot of support, because when I made the swap to football, a lot of coaches and that were pretty much just saying, why'd you do that? That was kind of a stupid decision, which they had no prior knowledge of, knowing that I've played footy my whole life and that sort of stuff. And they really just kept me real positive and not did I make the right decision and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
What kind of training are you doing at the moment? Obviously, you've had a little bit of time off since the grand final. Mm-hmm. What's keeping you busy at the moment?
I've got a running stuff that I'm doing. So I've got 2 running drills, and then just getting down to the oval with one of my mates down home.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, yeah, let's it's a good segue what you're talking about from a basketball and footy perspective. Let's go into that decision a little bit more. Obviously, started the year and clearly you've had a strong pedigree growing up with your basketball sporting side of things from a talent pathway point of view. What were the factors behind the decision to go for footy?
Well, I've just never really hated footy.
Yeah, I've
gone through some patches with basketball where I've been I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm going to training and games I've got basketball like a chore. I've never really had footy sort of give me that sort of feeling. And one of my previous coaches that I had at the start of the year really was putting the decision, pressuring me to make it, as every time I saw him and that sort of stuff. So that really just made it so much easier to make the decision to go to footy.
How important was footy as an outlet during those times when basketball wasn't your favourite thing to do?
Unreal. I remember this one time, I think it was under 16s, and I was just going through a rough patch with basketball, and I was just hating it, I wanted to drop out mid-season, this sort of stuff. And then I'd go to footy and it'd just be amazing. I wouldn't have any problems there. I'd just enjoy my time there at trainings and games, that sort of stuff. But yeah, kind of glad I stuck with basketball for that little stunt that I did.
Obviously, you weren't really happy picking football, going off what you're saying here, but when did you know you made the right decision to actually select footy?
Wow. That's a great question. Probably when I played my first game for Eastern. All I wanted to do was just debut for Eastern, being a part of the program last year and not being able to play because of basketball commitments and that sort of stuff was really, really hard for me. I was quite gutted. But yeah, I'd probably say my first game, that was probably a big step for me. I was just I'm pretty happy with the decision that I made.
Was that the kind of feedback you got maybe after your first game, or even going into being selected for your first game, that you got some great support and some more doors opening up for your footy career?
Yeah, exactly. That was the main goal and message that LJ sort of got me to believe in myself. She just wanted me to get out there and have as much experience playing at that sort of level, physicality and speed as soon as I could. So yeah, props to her.
The footy culture, how important has that been in your decision? You talked about the basketball and the fact that there was a level of falling out of love with it for a period there. How important was footy's culture in drawing you in?
I'd probably say that was probably one of the biggest factors. Just the banter around it and like everybody taking the piss, but like genuinely caring about each other and being able to joke around. Like I was in a basketball setting where like we could banter and that sort of stuff, but I would go away to another team and then it just like no banter whatsoever, just straight seriousness. Like you couldn't make jokes, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Besides off the court, on the court was just strictly serious, which I reckon I give footy props because you can take the piss on the field and stuff. So yeah, it's quite good, the culture, I'd say.
Obviously, you played at some pretty big levels for basketball as well.
Yeah.
How'd you go? Obviously, because a big commitment, but only Eastern footy alone would have been a big commitment for most players. But obviously, you're trying to balance some pretty high level basketball too. How'd you kind of go balancing those two sports throughout the year?
I didn't really do much balancing. Once LJ and Danny sort of got me down back to the club, the decision was pretty quick. But leading up to it, like informing my basketball coach, which is one of my teachers at my school, he was really lenient and really, really chill with the decision that I was going to make. And he knew that I was going to choose football. So yeah, I give credit to him because he really he just pushed me to do what I wanted to do. So yeah.
I think LJ and Danny Ryan from the Eastern Rangers came out to your house one night. Do you remember that? And tell us about what that night was like and how they were able to draw you in to follow the footy career.
They actually didn't come to my house. I went to the club late at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, that meeting with them was really big.
Yeah.
They were just like, they saw me playing footy. I think they had one of their scouts come out to one of my Barrett games. And yeah, they were just like, yeah, we need to get this kid down here right now. And that's what LJ said to me and Danny, which when I heard that, I was like, wow, like, I can't believe they're going to give me another shot. Like I thought they were just going to leave me with basketball. But yeah, I was like, the conversation we had was really, really good. Just them talking about me coming back to the program and how soon I'll be able to come back and apply my skills and stuff to the program, which was really, really big.
And obviously you've shot onto the draft radar, but when you did pick footy as the path you were going to take, was it always thinking that there was a professional opportunity there, or was it as much a decision for enjoyment as it was for anything else?
Purely just enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had, going into it, no idea that I would be good enough and at the level to be eventually getting drafted if I do. But yeah, coming in, like I said, just wanted to play one game. Like that was just the goal that I had, and after doing that I just wanted to play every single game for the rest of the season. But yeah, getting drafted and being eligible to get drafted will be really, really exciting, which yeah, I just can't wait.
You've talked about basketball a little bit from a point of view of why you ended up choosing footy, but no doubt there's some positive experiences that you're able to take out of it, playing alongside the likes of Luke Fennell. Tell us about what those experiences were like and being around some really highly regarded Australian basketballers.
Yeah, Luke was probably one of the best I've been around. He was really, really great. I remember a couple of games where he would just take the piss, like shooting whatever shot he wanted. Like he'd play the whole game out. Yeah, he's just a machine, that guy. But yeah, I've played probably amongst 10 college athletes at the moment. So yeah, them just being like me being a part of the team with them was really, really like big for me, because they're such professional athletes, and they were since under 16s. They would carry themselves, they'd take training so seriously and all that sort of stuff, which like really helped me develop my basketball skills and get me to where I had gotten with basketball. So yeah, I'd give credit to them.
Absolutely. From a professionalism point of view, you've got that background in the talent pathway in basketball. How do you feel like that holds you in good stead going hopefully onto an AFL list next week?
I'd probably say the biggest thing I take out of it is recovery.
Yep.
Learned a lot about recovery through my basketball career when I went up to school nationals for Barrett College, or when I went to Shanghai in China for Australia. Yeah, I'd probably say the biggest takeaway I would take was recovery. They really implied it and really drove us to take care of our bodies.
With obviously rucking, it's pretty straightforward. You might have one matchup for each week, or there might be a couple you're coming up against. Who was probably the hardest matchup you had this year? Obviously, when you're coming up against a lot of good rucks, maybe some on multiple occasions, but who was probably one that stood out as the biggest test for you this year?
Probably Flynn Penry from GWV. He was definitely the biggest one and the strongest, most physical ruck that I'd come against this year. I'd probably, he's the way he just carries himself in the ruck and always staying on the ground is pretty difficult. Like rucking, you've got to be able to jump, but like the way he plays without leaving the ground is pretty impressive.
Can you tell us a little bit about the second game against Flynn Penry? Because I remember asking you the same question mid-year, and you said Flynn Penry was a difficult one, and then in that prelim, you were probably one of the more influential players on the ground. Certainly looked like you learnt a bit.
I'd probably just say I think I got in his head a little.
Yep.
Because I think he jumped twice the whole game.
Yep.
So I was just letting the mids know, like I'd be yelling out centre bounces, look, he's going to grab it, he's going to do this, like stand here, get ready to tackle him if he grabs it. And then he'd change up his ruck style, which really like affected him because he's purely just put your arm out, use your body and grab the ball and then boot it.
Yep.
So I'd probably say I got into his head a little bit, which really gave me the advantage.
Obviously, there would have been a bit of planning going into that game. Then was that something you do most weeks, knowing who your likely direct opponent's going to be and maybe studying them a little bit or working with the coaches and knowing the type of ruckman that you're coming up against each week?
I'd probably say Tony Reeves is one of the bigger influences that I would have coming up each week, like versing every ruckman that I did. I would do a little bit of film with him and the other ruckman, Jaden Lawrence. Yeah, Jado and I, pre and post training, would do some ruck craft, which like one would just pretend to be the ruck and play like the ruck we were playing on the weekend. So I think that was really good for us. That really put us in a good position for the weekend.
Absolutely. There's a really good clip actually going around of Sully Roby. I don't know if you've seen it on social media at the moment with the cohesion he's got with the rucks at Eastern. Can you tell us a little bit about what that communication's been like with the midfield group that obviously went all the way to win the premiership?
It was unreal. Like, I don't think there was a stunt for more than 5 minutes in the game where I wasn't communicating to the mids and the mids weren't communicating to me. Like, if I hadn't said anything in two ruck contests or maybe 3, they would come up to me and be like, what's going on? Like, where are you feeling you're most likely to hit? Where are you feeling strong? Like, what are your positions? And this sort of stuff. Yeah, I'd probably say the mids really drove that to the highest level that they could have.
As a ruck, coming from a basketball background, there's obviously the athleticism side of things, but I know you've always prided yourself on the combativeness as well. Tell us about how you saw that grow throughout the year and how much you enjoyed being able to tackle and being able to be physical on a footy field when you made the switch.
It was definitely, the physicality was one that I took to heart. Never played ruck before, so I've never really had the ruck sort of feel, which was pretty hard first couple games coming in, but as I said, Jaden Lawrence, he really drove me to be like consistent with my physicality and be consistent with following up the ball and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'd probably say physicality.
Obviously, we're not far from the draft. You would have had a lot of interviews and clubs chatting to you. What's that process been like for you to date?
It's been pretty good. Majority of them have come into home, which has been pretty exciting. I would never have thought an AFL recruitment team would come into my home or that sort of stuff. So yeah, honestly, it's been a great experience just having the meetings with the teams that I have had with. So yeah.
When did it first enter your mind that you could be drafted at the end of November?
Probably this Monday.
Yeah, right.
Had a chat with my manager.
Yeah. We
went out to lunch and yeah, it was just, he had some really good and positive feedback for me. And I was like, I took away from it that, yeah, I could be getting drafted next week. Like, it's starting to get real. Like, I'm not just someone that can get picked probably last pick or whatever. Like, I'm not in that sort of category, which I'm just so grateful to be. And yeah, I'm taking away the fact that I could be getting drafted real seriously. So yeah.
Obviously, like you said, it's this Monday, then you haven't had a lot of assurance that it's definitely going to happen. But now that you kind of have a little bit more confidence, how do you feel mentally, potentially going into next year, that you're mentally prepped and on top of that being physically prepped for AFL football?
Yeah, I think with the stuff that I'm doing now will get me prepped for the first 3 weeks that you would go away for if you got drafted. And then just that Christmas break coming back would probably be a real big thing where I'd just knuckle down and make sure I'm doing everything that the club would give me just to get my body and mind right for when I go back if I get drafted.
Having gone through adversity in a sense from a basketball point of view where you were in and out of love with it, How do you feel like that's helped steel you from a resilience point of view?
I'd definitely say just never having a bad experience with football.
Yep.
Really. Like, sort of gave me the right mindset to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'd prefer to do this. I've never had a bad experience. I've never not liked it. I've always loved the game and that sort of stuff. So that was really big for me. That really like challenged me, like in a way where I was like, well, I might just be in a sense where I'm not liking basketball for just a little period.
Yep.
But yeah, from the switch, like I've gone back to school and that sort of stuff and played a little bit of basketball, and I'm pretty glad with the switch that I've made.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. You mentioned school there, Berwick College. How big an impact has that sort of had on you going to a sports academy?
I'd probably say the professionalism at Berwick College really showed me that there's levels to it. Like, you're not just rocking up to gym class, or you're not just going to PE or basketball class just to take the piss. Like, at Berwick College, we take stuff really seriously, which really put me in a right mindset to be a semi-professional athlete that I am now.
Obviously, if you are chatting with some clubs, the question they always ask is, what are you going to offer? An AFL list. If we draft you, what are we going to be getting? What is your kind of answer? What is the player that a club would get if they're drafting Marcus Krasnadamskis?
Definitely a hard worker and someone who's competitive on the field, off the field, just in pretty much everything that you do, really. I've always loved not to make everything a competition, but to sort of be the best at everything I do, which going into an AFL system, not being the best there really will like drive me to be and perform and do the best that I can do.
I think we saw some of that at the Combine.
Yeah.
When you were doing some testing and you got your name up on the leaderboard a few times, which would have been nice to see. And obviously a few of your teammates around, like Rod Ali was another one who was a standout.
Unreal, yeah.
How did that kind of all go for you? Obviously, you just want to do the best you can, and you're probably not comparing yourself too much to others, but obviously you tested really well and you would have got some great feedback off the back of that.
Yeah, I reckon the feedback I got was nothing negative. I got pretty much everything positive, which I was so wrapped with. I was so happy with it, especially from the 20-meter sprint. I was a bit down that I only ran a 2.8, but yeah, it was good enough for me on the day.
What's the PB?
Well, technically it's not a P. That was the PB, but up at Canberra, I had a false start, but I ran a 2.7. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Tell it to Oscar Taylor, or let him know that you got
one? I'll let him take the win. I'll let him take it.
Very good. Tell us as well about, is there a player you model your game on specifically? Is there a ruck that you watch closely?
Probably the one that I watch most closely would be Luke Jackson from Freo. Just the way he can be a fourth midfielder and be clean off the ground, that sort of stuff. I really try to model my game off of him. So I'd probably say he was a big influence for me.
Do you see yourself starting your career up forward before sort of graduating into the ruck?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say that I'm at the weight capacity that I would need to be a ruck. You've definitely got to be pretty big, but I could see myself going down forward or back to start my career.
So you would have been, taller than most kids for the last few years. Were you always tall as a junior? Like, did you play? I know some guys end up getting close to 2 meters tall, but started as midfielders or small forwards even as a junior. Did you have a bit of forward time or back?
The one position I've never played as a junior is ruck. So coming into the Eastern season playing ruck, it was really a new experience for me. So that was pretty tricky, but all throughout juniors I played on the wing and in the middle. So I did a little bit of backline stuff when we would come up against and do like under 14s, under 15s, would come up against like one of the pretty tall forwards that the opposition had. I'd just go down back and stick on them. But I've had a little bit of forward exposure. I think in under 16s, that's where I played most of my under 16s campaign. But I've majority played in the middle.
There's been a lot of talk about Sully Roby coming from the Clouds, playing Rowville at the start of the year as a local footballer. Your journey is actually quite similar, even though it hasn't necessarily received the same accolades. What do you recall of those days at Berwick, those 3 or 4 games? How important were they on steering you on the right path?
Oh, props to one of my teammates and schoolmates, Jed Robinson. He's always been just like nagging me to come down to Berwick for the past couple of years. And I was like, well, I'm not registered at the moment, so might as well. And then went down with him, had a chat with the 19s coach, Resi's and seniors coach. And that really, just after that chat, I was like, I want to go to Beck. Like that was one of the biggest like decisions for me. I was like, yeah, I'll play here for the couple games. And then, yeah, throughout those couple games, I was just trying to do the best I could. I was playing a little bit of ruck at that time, but yeah, I didn't play much. I was playing mainly forward, which was pretty fun. He was playing half forward with me and in the middle. Yep. So it was fun to him feeding it to me, which he said he was going to do, but I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He so you weren't registered at the start of 2025. When did you register?
I think early February.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to play football this season.
Yeah.
Just with the basketball commitment and coaches telling me that I've got college interest and that sort of stuff, but I never heard from any of them. So yeah, that really drove me to play footy.
Yep.
Talk about some of your other teammates from Eastern maybe, and we'll just riddle off a few and just give us, obviously what they're like on the field, what they're like off the field. We'll start with Oscar Taylor. Obviously another guy who had such a great year in the system that you all kind of flourished in.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with Oscar?
Yeah, pretty good. On the field, I'd probably say he's pretty professional and he likes to play the game his way, and which is just unreal. He's such a good footballer, but off the field, he's probably one of the more banterous guys at the club. He loves the word 6'7". Just can't get enough of it. Every time he hears it, he just cracks up. He's probably one of the most immature guys I know off the field, but on the field, he's definitely one of the most professional guys I know.
Xavier Taylor's sporting some new ink at the moment, and he seems like quite an affable character. What's it been like sharing the Eastern jersey with him? It's
been amazing. He's probably one of the guys that I looked up to coming into the program, just with the experience that he had last year playing almost every single game. But I probably looked up to him more than I did rather play with him, just the knowledge that he has and like the position knowledge that he has and running patterns and that sort of stuff. It was really one that I looked for.
How many players did you know last year or coming into the program? Because you obviously were listed, but didn't get down a whole heap.
I think I knew 3/4 of them.
Okay.
The ones that I didn't know were majority bottom ages.
Okay.
Just purely from 16s, it was a pretty similar group, which they all knew me, but the biggest thing was them trusting me again, which I give them all the props for that, because there's such a big difference from being on the field and your teammates trusting you and your teammates not. So props to them.
Obviously one you'd have a pretty close bond with, just given you're in the midfield together, is skipper Ollie Greaves. Obviously an absolute animal when the ball hits the deck, and
unreal.
If you find him with a nice hit out, he'll make good use of it. What's he like to work with?
He's been great. I've played, I think, maybe six years with him, just through Listerfield. He was at the same club, and played basketball like a lot with him. But he's been unreal. The information and knowledge you can gain from someone at his caliber, like with the All Australian stuff that he does and the Vic Metro stuff that he's done, probably one of the ones that I would go to if I had a question or query.
Ollie and Xavier have played a little bit of rep basketball, domestic basketball. What are they like on the basketball court?
Xavier Taylor's probably one of the most unathletic guys I've seen on the basketball court. But he's definitely a good player, 100%. Ollie Greaves, same sort of boat, but probably one of the better point guards that I've played with over my time.
Sully Roby, he's gone into the midfield a fair bit, and his rise has obviously been well fabled. How have you seen his season, and what's he been like?
I think his season has been unreal. Every game he's just gotten better and had more of an impact on the game, which has been so beneficial for our team. Like, I don't reckon we would have gotten to where we gotten without him, putting in that 110 effort that he does, which is really, really big for us. And everyone seeing him drive himself to be the best player that he can be really drove everybody around him. So, I'd probably give props to him a lot.
Last one, Lockie Doverston.
Unreal. Very good. He was probably one of the, if not the best small forward I think I've ever played with. Just the way he can kick a goal from literally anywhere he wants inside the 50. And he gets a lot. He gets a lot of the ball, which you can't really hate. You've just got to admire it.
A few fan questions.
Should we get into the most hard-hitting one? From Denzel Hurley is, how do you like your steak cooked?
Jeez. Wow. I wouldn't expect him to ask me that, but I think I'm more of a well done. Medium rare.
Are you? What are you?
I'm rare.
Oh, I don't like that. I'm medium rare, but
I'd probably say majority medium rare. But if I get a well done, you're
okay with it.
I'll have it.
Okay. Interesting. There you go.
Dakota Blacker, what's the transition from basketball to footy been like?
Pretty cruisy for me, actually. Just ever since juniors, knowing that I was going to pick football, just a matter of when I would pick it.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd probably say that the decision and the process has been pretty cruisy for me.
It's kind of a two-parter because I want you to guess who asked this, but who is your favourite Eastern teammate?
He's asked this to all the Eastern boys we've had on the show, and no one said him.
It's Andrew Barker. That's who asked it.
No, it's not Andrew Barker.
Who is your answer first? Then
answer probably Rod Ali.
Plays in the same line as both of those boys.
Wow.
And he's about the last player that I think both of the other Eastern boys we've had in have guessed.
Was it Ollie McKenzie?
Yeah.
I knew it. Yeah. Definitely love playing with him.
Yeah.
Can't say you don't. He's just such a cracker.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Marcus, thanks for joining Craft of the Draft.
No worries. Loved it.